Hello everyone, welcome to the ACCA Financial Accounting Debrief session. Let's have a look at the following ledger account that contains the areas. Now we get to see for the trade receivables ledger account, on the debit side, the balancing brought forward, we believe this is the opening balance, followed by the credit sales, cash sales, contra against the trade payables. Now, what about on the credit side? We get to see cash received from the credit customers, interest charge on the overdue accounts, irrecoverable debts written off, allowance for receivables, as well as the closing balance for the ledger account. So, what should the closing balance be when all the errors in the trade receivables ledger account have been corrected? Now, before we look into the correction, it's always important for us to know that on the credit side as well as the debit side, what should be the correct posting. Now, for example, we'll get to see if it's on the debit side or the debit entry of the ledger account. Now, we understand in this case where we get to see the amount owing by the customers will increase. Now then, what about on the other hand, for the credit side or the entry, these would be the amount owing by the customers, and here we get to see decrease. Now, so we understand that the above items has to be rearranged in such way. So let's have a look at the debit side of the account again. Now the opening balance should be here. Credit sales, yes, and these should be in the ledger account, but it's not for the cash sales. Now what about the contra against the trade payables, which we understand that it should be on the credit side instead of the debit entry? Cash received from the credit customers, do you think these reduce the amount owing by the customers? And the answer is yes. Now, what about the interest charge on the overdue accounts? So, any form of interest charge where it's supposed to be debited in the trade receivables ledger account, since it increases the amount owing by the customers. Now, irrecoverable debts written off, these again, it's a correct entry or the posting to the trade receivables ledger account. Now, what about the next item, the allowance for receivables? Now, these should not be included in the ledger account. So, by making all the following or all of these adjustments, we believe that we are able to derive at the corrected closing balance for trade receivables ledger account. So we understand that here the answer is $307,100.